Hello, Mike Raper.
Hi.
Welcome to Denmark.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Very good. You're presenting the new 2015 products, and
Yes.
we'd really like to hear some more about it.
Yeah, no problem. We're excited to tell you about it.
What's new about the 2015 series?
Well, with the kites, it's been every year we come out with a new range of products. Obviously, we keep it like Apple or any other company. We try and keep it as quiet as possible until the last minute. And we're launching on August the 1st, 2014. And we'll be launching the whole new range of products. And we've got really exciting areas within the kites, within the control systems that we're using, within the twin tip board technology, and with a whole new range of surfboards. So we've got a really broad range of new products. We've had a design team in place, a new design team in place for the twin tip boards now for 2.5 years, and that's finally starting to really give us a really good reward. And obviously our kite designer, Pat Goodman, has been designing kites now for 15 years and comes from a hang gliding, windsurfing design background, and that's transposed into the kiting, and that's been really exciting. A lot of the new technologies this year is bridle refinement, so refining the way that the bridles control the arc of a kite. And you'll notice this year a lot of the kites, they fly quite open, quite closed. But when you crash the kite's really open to catch the wind and make it easy to relaunch. So we've had a lot of performance. Obviously with the world records, speed records, Gabrina's pretty famous for our speed records with Rob Douglas. So we know the performance characteristics of the kite, the arc, the shape, the profile of the kite. We know we've got some magic recipes. So we're pretty excited to present new products. But this year, the biggest technology coming is a new kite, and we're really proud of this. It's been 2 years in the making, and it's called the Radar. And the Radar is a kite that it's a really fun, easy to use kite. It's a performance kite, but it has fantastic park and rides technology where the kite will just sit there. You can depower the kite very easily and power up the kite very easily, but it's got very light bar pressure, and it's very fast to initiate the turn, so it's a very quick, fast turning kite. The other big benefit of this kite is that it relaunches really easily. So when you crash, especially as a beginner intermediate, you're trying new tricks, and quite often you crash the kite more than, let's say, a high level rider. So you need a kite that can relaunch very easily, and this kite does that perfectly. We've been renowned in Cabrina with you'll remember many years ago we had the Switchblade 1, and it was one of the easiest relaunching kites on the market at the time. And we decided to go back to the drawing board and try and make the easiest relaunching kite that we could make again, but still keep it a really high performance, fun kite. So we're pretty excited about it. You know, the Switchblade's dominated probably 55% of our total volume, and we're expecting the Radar to come in the region of 30 to 40% of our volume in the future.
So the Radar is like a all-round kite?
Yeah, it's a new word this year, and you'll see it in a lot of our marketing more and more. It's called crossover, and crossover is a new word for, I guess it's not free ride, but it's a kite that can cross over into different areas. It's a kite that can do freestyle, it's a kite that can do free ride, it's a kite that can do a little bit of surf, but a kite that has a really broad spectrum of uses. So we're pretty excited about it.
Okay. The Switchblade, as you mentioned, has been around now for 10 years.
Yeah.
2015 is the 10th year.
Yep.
How can you keep on improving this kite? I mean, you can't just change the colors and then say it's a new kite.
No, oh man, it's got the magic sauce. You know, it's that magic recipe, and we've had it from the beginning, and it's evolved over time. I mean, if you go through all the different profiles, all the different outlines of the kite, it really has changed a lot over time. And it's a pretty hard kite to beat. I mean, volume-wise, it's the most sold kite out of all the brands in the market. It's the kite that has sold the most worldwide. So we've really nailed it. It's a kite that has 5 struts, so it's very, very stable in the air. Some kites only have 3 struts, whereas the Switchblade has the 5, and it means it gets a really rock-solid shape in the air. But the biggest thing about Switchblade is its very, very wide wind range. It's got the biggest wind range out of any kite in the market. It has a very good bottom end and it has a very good top end. And for any intermediate to advanced rider, in fact, beginner at all levels of riders, sorry, you need that big wind range. If you only want to have 2 kites, maybe 3 kites, 2 kites in your quiver, you can go to a Switchblade and you know that every time that it's going to cover a large wind range, especially places in Scandinavia where you may have a system coming through, a storm coming through. You go out on one kite and suddenly you find you have to, if the wind picks up and up and up and up, you can stay out that little bit longer with the Switchblade compared to a competitor. And yet at the bottom end it still works really well. So yeah, 10 years, we're pretty proud. And it's had a lot of bridle changes this year.
Big change
Few
from
changes
2013 to 14.
Yeah, you'll find the kite's just a little bit more balanced in the light wind. So the biggest change from 14 to 15 is that the kite is not quite so prone to stalling. The kite flies forward a little bit more easily in the window. You'll find the kite flies when you edge the board. The kite will fly forward a little bit more, and it has a lot less. A better balance in the bottom end. So it's just opening up that spectrum a little bit more. But no, we're really happy with it again this year.
You've also been working a lot on the light wind race kites.
Yes.
The last couple of years.
Yep.
And there came some new ones in 14.
Yes, the Contra.
Yeah, the Contra and the Velocity.
Yep.
Are we going to see something new in 15?
Yeah, no, same 2 models, but just further refinement. It's really hard when you start a product and you design a product from the beginning. When you introduce a product, it's really important you get it right the first time. To have a product that changes into something else, it gets confusing for the customer. The great thing about the Contra is that it has fantastic bottom end power. It doesn't have the same top end power as a Velocity, but it has really good bottom end power and it's super fun. For a 17 meter, 15 meter, and this year we're introducing the all new 13 meter, it's a super fun kite. If you get a chance to go out and ride it, please do. But it enables you to do, kind of loop a big kite. It's pretty difficult, but with the Contra you can do that. The Velocity, however, is a different animal. It's got similar bottom end, but it's a much more technical kite. So it's designed for a rider who's maybe riding for 2-3 years, somebody who wants quite a high top end and a very low attack angle. So what I mean by that is when you fly, the kite flies forward, the angle of attack, you're able to reduce that almost down to 0, which means you can dump and depower a lot of the kite. The Velocity is the only bow kite in our range of kites, whereas the Contra and all the other kites are what we call hybrid kites. Obviously Cabrini was the inventor of bow kites, and we found that having the concave trailing edge means that the kite is very flat in the air. It's not like a traditional kite. It's a much flatter kite. So on the surface area of the kite, it's got much more efficiency and it has a larger amount of power. The Velocity is great for foiling. If you want to go foiling and you want a kite that really depowers, obviously foils are very sensitive to too much power. And you want to go upwind very, very precisely, you're able to use a Velocity. Whereas the Contra on the other side, if you're looking for a general freeride kite that you want to throw down some freestyle in light wind conditions, you want a kite that turns quickly, the Contra does that. So 2 different types of customers for light wind, but I think we've got both areas covered. The Contra's 3-strut, so it's a little bit lower in price and a lot more competitive in price for somebody who's not prepared to put out the big dollars for the Velocity, for racing and for foiling. But the Contra is a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I hope that answered that question.
It did, thank you. You introduced a new bar last year.
Yes.
The Overdrive,
Yep.
the X Overdrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
1X.
Have you done any improvements or changes to it?
Yeah, we have. The great thing about the 1X, the Overdrive system, is the fact that you're able to, on the fly, while you're riding, you can pull the tab and you're able to adjust and turn what is a short bar into a larger bar. And a lot of our competitors, you have to take it, it's very complicated, you have to reconnect the ends, you have to untie knots. Whereas with Cabrini, with the Overdrive system, it's really easy. It's got an adjustable EVA bar end, and you're able to make it a lot bigger. Now the benefit is when I pull in on my right side, you notice the left side actually goes closer to the kite, and the outside the side I'm pulling on will actually come tighter, so you get more leverage over the kite. Whereas if you can imagine it's a fixed bar like this, when I do this bar end isn't actually going towards the kite, it's staying in the same angle. So we didn't, in the beginning we didn't mean to do this, but we realized very quickly that by splaying it out, you're able to get a lot more leverage. The other big benefit is you don't start with a big bar and move to a smaller bar. You start with a smaller bar and move to a bigger bar. And it means that even when you're using it on the larger setting, the bar is still very small. And a lot of people really appreciate having a smaller bar. So no, we're pretty stoked with that. This year we've also added some foam floats to the ends. A lot of people had trouble with the leader lines on either outside wrapping around the bar end sometimes, and you may have had the situation. You're nodding.
I've tried it.
You've had it before, where quite often the leader line can get wrapped around, and it means the kite starts to spiral downwind, and then you have to eject from the kite. With new foam floats coming up higher, that leader line is less likely to wrap around. The other big benefit is having a security leash, the leash that everyone connects to. Quite often that leash can also wrap around a shorter, smaller bar end, whereas with the new foam floats running higher, the leash doesn't wrap around anymore. And especially for freestyle, wave riding, there's nothing worse than getting your leash wrapped around one of the bar ends. Again, similar, the kite starts spiraling downwind. So again, safety and performance are a large part of that.
Sounds good. But you've also changed your release system.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Cabrinha's, for safety-wise, Cabrinha's been at the forefront of safety for a long time. It's been our brand philosophy, our brand mantra, our mandate. And the biggest benefit of chasing a safety goal is that we want more people to come into the sport. We want more younger people, older people who wouldn't have previously thought about coming into kiteboarding. They probably thought, kiteboarding is a little bit extreme. Don't know if I want to get into it. Making it safer and more accessible for people, especially with the introduction of the bow kite. You'll remember when it came out, suddenly you could depower your kite just by pushing your bar away. Previously, you couldn't depower your kites, and that was a huge step forward. Obviously, that's continued in the brand. This year, we have a really cool opening loop system. If you get a chance to check it out, you can check it out on CabrinhaKites.com. We have some videos which will explain the benefits of the new control system. But the opening loop system is the first system on the market that is one-handed release and a one-handed reconnect. So you can actually do it with one hand. Everybody else's systems, you need to use two hands. The other really big design challenge for designing this loop was having the center PU tube. You'll notice a lot of our competitors have 3 lines going through the bar, 2 or 3 lines. Those lines get worn. Over time, you have to replace them. We've designed everything internally on the one PU tube, so all the lines are going through the tube. So again, safety, ease of use and repair. Also for the retailers, it's much easier to replace all the parts. You can adjust the loop size, you can remove the security pin with an Allen key. It gives you so much freedom to adjust the control system for you. A lot of people want to customize their control system, so we've given that that ability to customize it. So yeah, no, we're super stoked, really happy. The quick release loads or AFNOR meet the industry standard, and actually beat it. It's a much lower release load, so we're really happy.
So safety is important for Cabrinha.
Huge, yeah. It's a really large part of the brand. Everything we do. You'll notice Cabrinha has probably more warnings, hang tags, user manuals than any other brand. We really try hard to explain to our customers how to use a product safely and efficiently. So, yeah.
We've seen a lot of new boards coming out in 2014. Any surprises for 15?
Yeah, I mean, we had a new designer started with us 2.5 years ago, a guy called DK, and DK is kind of famous in our company anyway. He's brought a lot of innovation. He's brought a huge amount of product knowledge to our new board factory. Don't know if anyone's aware, but we started our own board factory 2 years ago for twin tip boards. And again, there's a video online if you want to check it out. And the new twin tips, we've introduced a new material called basalt. And some people say basalt, most people know what fiberglass is, most people know what carbon is. Basalt's this really cool new material, and it's made from volcanic, sounds a bit crazy, but it's made from volcanic rock, and it's ground down and added into a fiber. The benefit is it's almost as light as carbon, but it's got the same, but carbon is very brittle, can break very easily. And you'll probably see on the beaches, a lot of people have carbon boards that break really easily. Whereas basalt doesn't break as easily, but it has the same light weight, but it still has the same durability as fiberglass. So the boards are really durable, very lightweight. You'll also notice a whole lot of new shapes where we've introduced much thinner boards, much lighter weight boards, but we've added a rail, a parabolic rail. You'll see it in our marketing, but it basically means the board's very stiff, very light, and high performance. So we're really excited to introduce that. Another new product this year is the introduction of a wake boot binding, and this is called the H3. And the H3 is taking, for many years, as you probably notice, a lot of the top riders are moving into wake style boards and boots. And the problem is with some of the other brands like Ronix, Liquid Force, these guys, they make very beautiful looking boots, but they're not durable for kiting. If anyone riding with a boot binding, you'll find if you ride behind a wakeboard, a wake boat, you ride for 10-minute set, and then you'll maybe have another 10-minute session at the end, but you're not riding for a long period of time. That's over this side. Then you have cable riding, where people now, because you can go as long as you want to on a cable, you're riding for a lot longer. Take kiting on the other side, you're going out for 2 hours, 3 times a week. Suddenly you're riding for 6 hours over here. We needed to make a boot that was really lightweight and a boot that was really durable, but specific for kiting. If you look at a wakeboard boot, they lean, the angle of the ankle is a lot way further forward. With kiting, your ankle is a lot further back. So we had to change the angle of the boot back. We had to make it much lower, so it's not as high, doesn't go up as high on the calf. It's a lot more comfortable. And it's still using the same mounting screws as our fins, as our bindings, everything using the same componentry. So it's really easy to install. So yeah, no, we're pretty excited about the H3. We've got a really exciting range of boards. I think with the twin tips, we kind of cover a large spectrum of the market, from light wind to surf to freestyle to cable riding to wake style and consumer freestyle. So it's got a big range. We're also really excited this year with a whole new range of surfboards. All new shapes, new constructions, much stronger. Previous constructions from our competitors, we're breaking, I think we took about 15 boards from the industry and snapped them. And we were measuring how much they flex and how easily they break. So we're getting really scientific with what we call deflection, so how much the boards flex, because it's super important for surfing, but also how easy it is to heel dent them with your heel or to break them. And we're super excited with new boards. They're a little fractionally heavier, but not much. But they are the performance, and the new shapes are fun. You know, we've got some really good down the line wave boards. We've got some traditional surfboards, and we've got a lot of people are into more surf freestyle now. Maybe they don't have a perfect wave on their local beach, but they want a board that you can still smash it up on a wave, but at the same time you can, you know, try and loop the board. You can try and maybe kick flip the board, and what we call surf freestyle. So we've got a really nice new range called the Secret Weapon. Is that surf freestyle board. So yeah, we're pretty excited with the surfboards.
Now we're talking about boards. The new black in kite surfing is the foil boarding.
Yes.
What's Cabrinus take on this?
Yeah, I personally I foil once a week. I know Pete foils regularly. And I bought one, I think, about 12, 13 years ago. I think I got one of the first Rush Randall foils, where we used to have to wear snowboard boots clipping onto the foils. It's changed a lot over those years. Foil boarding, as you know, is extremely efficient for light wind. And if you want a product to really get going in 5, 6, 7 knots of wind and have a lot of fun, foil board's definitely the way to go. We don't currently have a foil board in our 2015 range, but we have been working on it for some time. We didn't want to come with a Me Too product similar to competitors. We wanted to approach it slightly differently, and we've got some different technologies coming in, which we'll hope to introduce over time. So yeah, we're definitely focusing on it, definitely looking into it.
Very interesting, very interesting. We've been into this earlier, but what is Cabrinus' overall take on quality, philosophy on quality, if you may?
Well, as you know, like as one of the biggest manufacturers of kite surf, kiteboard equipment worldwide, and the fact that we own our own factory, our unique difference to our competitors is that we own our own kite factory, we own our own twin tip board factory. So that means and we also own our distribution in quite a few countries. So when we have a problem in the market, they tell our distributors. Our distributors are immediately on the phone to me and to the team, our product managers. And then we have that very close relationship with our factory, which is an hour and a half from our office. So we're able to go up to the factory, fix a problem, find a solution. Our biggest breakthrough recently has been the fact that we've really hired some professionals from outside the industry who've come in and worked really hard with us on vendor management, supply chain management, getting really accurate QC, quality control, coming out of the factory, but also going into the factory. The raw materials from our suppliers, auditing and vetting our raw material supplies. So going back, for example, to find the canopy cloth that we have on our canopy, to find the yarn. Who makes the yarn? How is it made? To understand the entire process. How does the yarn get to our weaver? The guy that weaves our yarn, how do they dye that process? How do they coat the yarns in a coating that is durable and lasts a long time?
So you're also looking into an environmental part of kite producing and board producing.
Yeah. It's, you know, a lot of the materials we use. We're trying really hard to move. For example, the polyurethane rails. A lot of the materials we're using now are a lot more eco-friendly. Obviously, you know, you hear about the pollution problems in China. Hong Kong's right next to China, so it's in my backyard. So it's something that we've really concentrated on over time. But the quality, if you go to any repair shop in the world and you talk to these guys that repair the products, and I'm talking thousands, you know, you go to the biggest repair guy in Tarifa, which is kind of the mecca of kiting for Europe, and you talk to them, what's your warranty rates and what are the repairs of Cabrinha in comparison to our competitors? We're a lot lower than everybody else. We have some of the best bladder technology in the industry with the new 2DR canopy, double ripstop canopy material. We've done a lot. We spend a lot of time on the quality of the Dacrons, the heavy duty, the leading edge. We call this skeletal frame technology. You can see it on our website. There's also a great video if you get a chance of the guys crashing the kites. I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but it's really funny. If you got time, get online, have a look at it. Where we just get out there and we start crashing kites, but we film it with a slow motion camera. So we get 2,000 frames per second. We can see how when the kite hits the ground, how it's buckling, how it's twisting, where it's loading up the kite. So we spend a lot of time on durability, but also a lot of time on performance. We've got some of the lightest weight bladders on the market. And our kites in general, weight-wise, are a very lightweight kite. So a lighter weight kite means faster turning, higher performance. So quite often it goes hand in hand, performance versus durability versus manufacturing techniques. Because we own our factory, our kite designer is in the factory for 1 week every month. So that means our ability to control the quality is really high. So yeah, it's high on the list. I mean, the new quick loop system, the new quick release loop system was 2.5 years in the design period. So I think I've seen a picture of, I think it was 10 or 12 different versions of this quick loop system before we finally bring the product to market. It's got to be really well tested, and it's got to be durable, and it's got to work for all the different segments of the market. So work just as well for a beginner as it does a pro competition level rider. So yeah, quality, sorry to come back, it's a long answer, I'm sorry, but to come back, it's really important for us.
Well, I think this concludes our session.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
And we're looking forward to the 2015
yeah. Please,
Cabrinha line.
For any of your customers watching, anybody's interested, please come to the website. We're launching August 1st. We've got a really nice range of new products coming through. And we've got Shapers notes. Just make sure you watch the product video. But if you get time, please check out the Shapers or Designers notes. And it really goes into the detail that we can't cover here.
Very nice.
But, cool. Anyway, nice
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
nice
Mark.
To meet you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.